What's up, guys? Good afternoon. It's a great day today. It's actually starting to warm up here in Maryland today. I think it was almost up to 84. It was 84, 85 degrees. We're going to go, we're doing YouTube Live again. We're going to try to figure this out real quick. Let's see. All right, we'll just go with that. So tonight I'm going to try to do a live stream for the next 50 minutes to an hour. I like to go to about 8 o'clock Eastern time. And today, what I'm going to talk to you guys about, because I get a lot of questions from other people that are like trying to like get into the hunting industry, or actually want to become a hunter, or why they should become a hunter and stuff like that, and explain to you guys my story on how I became a hunter, why I hunt, why I like to hunt, and so on. The whole thing, the whole story from when I was a kid to where I'm at now. And not that, I'm anybody special or important in the hunting industry, but over the course of the past 3 years from being involved in it, I've met a lot of people. I've learned a lot of things, had some ups, had some downs, and stuff like that. And I get questions from you guys and, and people that follow us on Facebook and stuff like that. And I get questions all the time. So we're going to do this live and explain to you guys my story. It's not like a super interesting story, but I have some things that I'm going to add in there from experience-wise. And thank you, Jason. And guys, when your comments pop up, they disappear. They only stay on there for like 3 seconds and then they're gone. I don't know how to get to them. So if I miss a question, or if I don't respond to your comment, it's not me ignoring you. It's just because they disappear and I can't figure out how to get them back. So like I was saying, my story is not like super interesting, but I have some things I'm gonna add in there to explain to you guys the ups and downs, some learning experiences, some hunts that I've been on, and also a monster buck that I've had stolen from me probably 16 years ago now. So I'm going to add that in there as well. So hopefully you guys follow along. I think we got like 2 people watching right now. YouTube's tough. Facebook's tough to try to get a lot of followers and stuff like that. So I'm going to explain about that as well. I'm going to add that in there. And hopefully you guys can find just a little, even if you find a little bit of information that can help you, then I did a good deed. I helped you guys out. You guys help me out all the time. You comment on videos and stuff like that. And like I said, nothing super important in the hunting industry, and I can't, not the best. I don't want to be the best. I just have some cool stories, and we'll start it out. So basically, I'm 32 years old. I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I've been hunting since I was, I think, about 13 years old. My family, as far as my mother, father, sister, stuff like that, they do not hunt. I was interested in hunting probably when I was about, I would say maybe 10 or 11 or 12, somewhere around that area. And my uncle was a hunter, and he actually got me into hunting a little bit. We used to hunt together and things like that. I got into bow hunting, I would say probably around 15 years old, something like that. Maybe 14, right before I was turning 15. Bought a bow. I think my very first bow was a PSE Nova. It was a great bow. Killed many deer with it. But like I said, I started out hunting with him, and then transitioned into hunting with friends and hunting on my own, which I've done a lot. Majority of the time that I've hunted is on my own. I enjoy that. And then once I got my hunting license, or my driver's license, I started going with friends. We would hunt public land. I would get out of school half a day in high school and pick my friends up, and we would go hunt public land. We would do that all the time. And before I started to drive, my father, even though he didn't hunt, he would take me hunting. He would do whatever he possibly could do to make sure that I was able to hunt. He took me hunting many times. We would go down Eastern Shore, Maryland. We would hunt down there, public land. He would take me bird hunting, and he wasn't a hunter. He didn't, hate hunting. He just wasn't a hunter. So that's kind of how I started when I was a kid, and then I hunted on my own from probably when I was about 16 years old to about 18, maybe 20, and I was hunting public land, killed many deer on public land, and then I started getting into there was a lot of lottery drawing that you would fill out some paper, throw your name into the lottery, and they would randomly draw your name so you could hunt public land. Done that many times, works great, killed many a deer. And then when I was about 20, about 20 years old, my friend Dave, his grandparents actually have about 15 acres, maybe about 10 minutes from my house. So he actually talked to them, and they gave me permission to hunt on their property. They only had 15 acres, but it was surrounded by a lot of woods. So I started hunting there, bow hunting, and that was basically my first experience with private land. And once I got a taste of private land, I was a whole different person. It was super exciting. You just seen a lot more deer, a lot more quality deer, stuff like that. And on this small 15 acres of woods, I probably killed to date maybe, I don't know. Well, I probably only killed about 10 deer out of there. Like I said, it's not that big of a woods, but it's surrounded by a lot. But hunted there many a times, got into there, and then I transitioned. We did a few outfitter hunts in Ohio. Didn't have any success with that. I think we went 3 times. Never even had an opportunity to shoot a buck in outfitters. And outfitter hunting can be good. It's kind of hit or miss, just like regular deer hunting. But a lot of them outfitters, I don't think they're more concerned with money than actual quality of hunting. So you do have to be careful. You have to do a lot of research and stuff like that before you go. Before I would suggest going with another outfitter. But we did do that. What's up, William? How many times in a season did you hunt the 15 acres? I'm 32 now. So back when I was about 20, when I started hunting there, I would hunt. We would take certain days off during the season. So our rut here in Maryland usually it starts right around Halloween. So I would take certain days off. I would take 3 days off of work and hunt, 3 consecutive days in a row that property, or mainly Saturdays I would go there because most of the time you're working during the week. You don't have time to get off work and then go hunt the evenings. So that 15 acres, I would say every Saturday, and then during the rut we would hunt there 2 or 3, maybe 4 consecutive days. We had a lot of success with that place. There was a lot of deer in there. I had actually shot a albino 8-point there, and unfortunately I wasn't able to find it. It was I think I was about 22 years old, and it was right during the rut. He was fired up chasing some does, and I think I emptied every single quiver in my arrow shooting at them, just because I was so nervous and so amped up, and just kept missing. And then my fifth shot, I hit him. I think I hit him right in the shoulder and only got a few inches of penetration. And we backed out, came back the next day, and I actually bumped him up. And after that, never found him. But yeah, we hunted there pretty much every Saturday. And then after that, I transitioned into other hunting properties and things like that, private land wise. And private land is where it's at for me. You can still have good success with public land if you do your research and stuff like that. But my preferred method is not public land. I like private land. But over the course, I still have that property, that 15 acres there. It kind of went downhill because they let a lot of people go in there, and it just pressures it, and it's just messed up. So I really don't hunt there anymore. I still have it. I can go. And what's up, Jason? Same here. So I can still go there. I actually just went there last week and put a trail camera out just to see what's going on in there, see the bucks, what's coming in velvet here, starting to grow in the next few months. So we'll see what happens with that, but there's just a lot of people there, and all that stuff. So I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna go back to this monster buck that got stolen from me. When I started hunting, when I was 14 years old, my dad bought me a junior 20 gauge shotgun, and they live on about 3 acres. It's not that big, but it backs up to tons of woods. And it was right when I started hunting. It was actually in December, shotgun season. And during the shotgun season, we get 2 weeks here in Maryland, and there was tons of woods that backed up to my parents' house. And I remember when I was a kid there, 12, 13 years old, that during that time of year, say from like November to December, if you open your bedroom window up, you would hear these bucks like horn fighting, rattling, and grunting and all this other stuff, and it was crazy. And you could go outside, and there was lights, at the back of the house, and you could see all the eyes reflecting. And it was dozens of deer. It was crazy. That's how many deer was around there. So I told my dad, I said, Dad, I want to hunt. And so he bought the shotgun for me. And at the time I was I was 14. Bought a ladder stand, set the ladder stand up, and went out there after school, and we were sitting there, and it started raining. I mean, it was downpouring. So I knew there was a big buck there coming in because I think a few days prior to that, I seen him right before dark over in his other field on the other side. So sure enough, we're hunting there, pouring down rain, and this monster buck comes in. Hurt too many targets for his public land, shoot a deer, so we'll also claim it. Not worth arguments. I agree with you, buddy. And this monster buck come in, and at the time, I didn't even realize like how big this deer was, just because I was new to hunting, and I was honestly, when it came in, I was excited, but I wasn't excited as I get now, just because I didn't know. So he come in, got the gun up, shot him. He ran off, and we got down out of the tree, came back to the house, and I guess about maybe 30 minutes went by, and we started looking for the deer. Of course, no blood because it was raining and stuff like that. So we ended up kind of circling around the way he ran, and about 20 minutes into it, there was a old wood pile, and this deer was laying on the other side of that wood pile. He was dead. So we went up to it, and we ended up dragging it. It had a four-wheeler, so we drug it back to the house. And after looking at this thing, my dad called his friend that was a big time hunter, he come over and looked at this, and he was, do you turkey hunt, and if so, what's the best load for 20 gauge? I would go with the Winchester Winchester Longbeards, Winchester XR Longbeards. They're the ones I shoot in my 12 gauge. It's got the tightest pattern, but I would shoot the Winchesters. So we found a deer. My dad called his buddy. He comes over, and he's like freaking out. He's like, I've been hunting for 30 years and never even saw a deer this big. And this deer had 14 points. You're welcome, Harry. And he had it was a 14 pointer, massive. I mean, had so much mass to it. It was ridiculous. The brow tines were 10, 11 inches long, just massive. And I'll show you guys. It's hanging right over here. I'll show you guys in a minute. And it was just crazy. My friends come over, a bunch of people come over. They were freaked out by this thing because it was so big. So the next day, we took it to the taxidermist and dropped it off, filled all the paperwork out and everything like that. And I think it was either like maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something went by, and it was actually like a few days before Christmas. And we got a phone call at the house. My dad answers it, and it was a taxidermist saying that somebody broke into his shop and stole my rack. Stole the rack. They filled out a police report and all that good stuff. My parents went over there, I think we all went over there the next day. He said it was a mistake. At night, he usually locks up the horns, in like a case or a chest or something. But that night, he happened to forget, and just so on and so on and so on. Showed us a police report. I did everything that I was only 14 years old. I did everything that I could do, talked to people. My mom actually went on to like a radio show for Maryland. It's I can't even think of the name of the show now, but went on there, explained the situation, just trying to get the word out to see if anybody knew anything about it. So weeks go by, nothing. Didn't hear anything about it, and I was sad, man. I didn't know what to think. And like I said, at the time, I was still new to hunting, and I still didn't realize what happened, how important this deer was that was missing, that was now stolen, because I didn't realize that people hunt 15, 20, 30, 40 years and never get to see a deer this big. And as time went on, it saddened me more and more and more as the years went on, because it was gone. And I realized how hard it is to hunt day after day after day, year after year, and not see anything even close to that. It was tough. It was rough. It was a tough time, and to this day, I still have never seen anything as big as this deer. So years went on, years go by, 14 years go by to be exact. Keep this in mind. It was a 14-point buck, okay? 14 years go by. 14 years go by, my new taxidermist suggested that I post the story on this website. And I posted the story on this website, had a little picture on there, the whole story, what happened. And sure enough, 2 days later, I had a reply on there to the story. It was a 14-year-old kid. Keep in mind, 14 years go by, 14-point buck, 14-year-old kid replies to my post on there. He said, hey man, I seen your buck in a local gun shop up the street from my house. Here I am, 27, years old, 28 years old, something like that. I'm like, whatever, man. There's no way. It's impossible. I said, next time you go there, take a picture of it or something and send it to me. So sure enough, very next day, him and his dad go there. He takes a picture of it, sends it to me, and it's my deer. It's my deer that's been missing for 14 years, and it's hanging on a wall in a gun shop, hour and a half away from me. So immediately, I call DNR. They didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't care. Nothing they could do. So I ended up calling the police department in that area, and luckily, the cop that I spoke to was actually a deer hunter, so he actually understood the situation on how important it was and quick that we had to respond to this. So that day, drove out there, and the cop met me there and explained to him the situation, gave him the picture of me, 14 years old, holding the deer. He looks at it. He says, let me go in first and confirm that it's your deer. So he goes in the shop. He comes back out, and he comes back out, in a few minutes, and he says, your deer's in there. Let's go get it. And I said, okay. So we go inside the shop. We speak to the owner. The cop explains the situation, and the owner said, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he said that he had a bunch of houses that he rented out, and one of his tenants in the house moved out and left this deer on the wall, which I find that hard to believe, but that's what he told us. So the cop explains to him that this is my deer hanging on his wall. That's not his. And he says, well, I'm not giving it to you. It's in my shop. It's mine. And the cop says, no, it's not. And he said, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And the guy said, okay, here you go. Gives me the deer back. So at this point, we got the deer back. I go home. The hide is all messed up. The mount, it just looks horrible. And I get home and I cried. I literally had tears in my eyes because 14 years go by. I'm thinking that the deer is gone. There's no way I'm getting it back. It's impossible. It's in, this rack is in like Texas or out of the country, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't know. I don't know if it is as high now as it was back then, but people pay big money for racks. Back then, I knew people that from, talking to taxidermists and stuff like that, they were paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for, 180, 200, 250 inch racks just to have them to mount on a deer. To me, that doesn't make sense, but that's what they were doing, and there's big money in it. So I'm thinking that this guy's story wasn't true, that, he bought it off somebody or whatever the situation was, and he hung it in his shop because he even said that, he hung it in his shop for publicity. That's what he said. So, like I said, I came home, I teared up, man. I was ecstatic. I didn't even know what to think. And it's still hard to believe that I was able to get it back. I still can't believe it. It's crazy. 14-point buck, 14 years go by, stolen. A 14-year-old kid found the deer, and I get it back 14 years later. It's crazy. So I ended up contacting the kid that found it, and I ended up sending him, I think it was either $150 or $200 gift card to Bass Pro Shops, just to thank him. I called his dad, thanked him. It was crazy. So what I had to do was, because the mount and the hide and everything was all messed up. Thank you, Danny. The hide and everything was all messed up. So my new taxidermist, what we did was I ended up buying a hide from another deer, the exact same size as the original one, and he actually remounted the deer with the original rack. So it was a crazy story, and I want to show you guys. We got a couple people here watching. Here's the buck here. I'm gonna show you guys. Let's see. You guys can see it there. Can't see me, but that's the buck there. That's him there. I'll hold it there for a couple seconds so you guys can see. So that's the buck there, and as you can see, why I would be so upset about it. But like I was saying, at the time when I first shot it, I didn't realize the importance of it. But I have it back now, and once I got it remounted, I ended up entering it into the Maryland trophy deer contest, and it came in first place. It was put in a separate category just because it was so old and it was shot so long ago. They put it in like I think it was like a historic or something category, which I think there was like 32 other ones entered into there, and it came in first place. So it was a huge deal that I was able to get this thing back. It was just an amazing story, and like I said, to this day, I still can't believe it. It's crazy. So I was super grateful for that, to get that back, and it made me realize the importance of like just hunting in general, and things like that. So that's the story on that. So now I'm going to get back into the progression through hunting over the years, and I'm going to turn this other light on because it's getting dark. Hopefully that helps a little bit. So over, I guess when we'll go back to when I was about 21 years old, hunting that 15 acres. My parents' neighbor at the time actually had property down in Montgomery County, Maryland, which it's almost about 300 acres, 275 acres, and he asked me to get into there, and started hunting there. I've been hunting there for about, I guess, 6 years now, something like that. Killed a few deer off of there. In between there, I was hunting some more public land as well. Had a few other small private lands that I was hunting. I was in a few other clubs and things like that. Didn't really pan out too well. And I had a really nice property, I guess maybe about 15 minutes from where I'm at now. And it was 37 acres, and I actually lived there for 5 years. When I was living there, I had full rights to the property because I was renting a house on the property, and the owners actually lived on there as well. And I had full rights to the hunting property, and I've killed, I guess over the course of like 6 years, I killed probably 40 deer off of that property, something like that. That place was loaded with deer. I managed it the best that I could over those years, as far as not shooting small deer, small bucks. That was really important, because when I was a kid, and when anybody's a kid, you don't really think about that stuff like management and things like that. You just want to shoot the first thing you see, and that's fine. But as the years went on, is when I started realizing the importance of management, letting the small bucks go, shooting the big mature bucks, mature does, let the small does go, and things like that. And I'm not like super fanatic about it, but I take it more serious now, and as I did back then. It's more important to me now than it was back then, because over the years you just kind of you like mature as a hunter, and things like that, and you realize how hard it actually is to shoot a big buck. It's tough, especially if you don't have the property. If you don't have the property, it makes it even tougher. It's tough, man. It's like I've killed a lot of them, but it doesn't happen all the time, and it's a challenge that I like to do, and to me, it's an important factor into hunting. Is letting the small bucks go, and you kind of a lot of people get criticized. You get criticized for that. Let shooting the big bucks only. People criticize that, and I don't really care. If people want to shoot a small one, I don't care. Shoot what you want. Doesn't matter to me. Do I think people should shoot a small one? No, I don't. I think you should wait. Shoot a doe instead, or something like that. But if you want to shoot a small one, have at it. Doesn't matter to me. Everybody hunts their own way. They hunt how they want to hunt. Doesn't matter. And that's a problem with hunting now, is too many people judge what you do or what you're doing as far as hunting goes. Should you bait? Should you not bait? Food plots, corn piles. It's just a huge mess. Honestly, it's a huge mess. And it's with anything, really. If you want to hunt a certain way, hunt that way. Doesn't matter how you do it. Hunt that way. Don't let anybody judge you or try to put you down for hunting a certain way. I hunt a certain way. I don't care what anybody thinks. I do everything legally, ethically. I hunt the way I want. I don't care what anybody thinks about it, because in my mind, it's how I want to hunt. You hunt the way you hunt. Everybody learns their own different tips and tricks over the years, and you implement them into hunting. And whether it's right or wrong, you can take advice from others and let others give you advice. But it's just a huge deal, especially with social media, with people, putting other people down for shooting small bucks or not hunting the way that they think you should hunt and things like that. It's crazy. So I hunt the way I want to hunt, and I don't judge anybody the way they want to hunt. If you want to hunt over a corn pile, or you want to put a food plot in, or you want to spot and stalk, you want to hunt out of a ground line, tree stand, doesn't matter. As long as it's legal, ethical, things like that, it's perfectly fine. So that, I do believe, is a huge issue right now with social media and other hunters putting other hunters down, and it's a major problem in the hunting industry as far as like companies, like sponsorships, stuff like that. People use other people as a stepping stone. They try to go around you to get a better deal, or it's crazy. I'm telling you, it's crazy, and people don't want to talk about it. People want to think everything's perfectly fine, and I don't sugarcoat anything. You know what I mean? I don't restrict anything. I tell you how it is, and I'm telling you, people are crazy, man. People are crazy. I've had a lot of things happen over the course of 3 years. I've had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and I help a lot of people. Like when I started filming hunts, I helped a lot of people. I started getting sponsorships and product sponsors and stuff like that, and they would ship us products, And like, I put a lot of time and effort into, filming. I like self-filming. That's what I mainly do. And it's a lot of work. It costs a lot of money to get all the filming equipment, external microphones, the camera mount, second angle cameras, third angle cameras, A footage, B-roll, A-roll footage, B-roll footage. It's a lot of time, and it takes a lot of patience. And when I first started, I guess it's been, about 3 years now since I started filming hunts. And very first thing I did was go to Best Buy, and I bought like a $200 video camera and this like $15 camera arm that was so squeaky when you turn it side to side that I like scare all the deer away. So as time went on, I got a better camera, a better camera arm, and better filming equipment. And when I first started, I was by myself, and I brought on a few different people, and I started working with different companies and product sponsors and things like that. And the thing is, with all that, is you have people that will use you to get free product or to advance themselves, and people don't want to talk about it, but it happens. It happens more times than not. So I was giving people, free stuff left and right, here and there, trying to help them, showing them how to film hunts and stuff like that. And that's just because, I feel like I'm a nice person. Do I do everything right? No. I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Probably make more mistakes than, correct ones. But it happens. Everybody makes mistakes. But all you can do is move on, learn from them, and try not to do them again. So with that, we started building up product sponsors, and it started progressing, started meeting new people. You start promoting the companies. Like one of the very first ones was Spy Point trail cameras, with which I'm still with today. Fantastic company to work with. Still with them, and they were like one of the first ones. And I don't get paid. But from anybody. Don't get paid. I like promoting companies and products that work, and in exchange for a product sponsorship. So that was like a number one question is from a lot of people is, how do you get products and free product? Like, personally, I mean, like, honestly, like, I could care less about a free product. I mean, yeah, it's nice and that's what you want, but to me it's more important to show that company that you actually care and you're not just taking their product and running. You know what I mean? It's you just don't want their product for free, and you can't not promote them, because they got to make money too. You know what I mean? They can't just give everybody free product, and most of them are small businesses, and it just doesn't work that way. So I was giving my team members free products and stuff like that, and they weren't promoting that company. So a lot of people don't know, like, a lot of these companies and product companies, I have to stay in contact with them, give them updates on social media, YouTube, the engagement, how many people are commenting, how many people are liking it, how many posts you did per week. It's a lot of stuff. And when you vouch for these people, and the companies are like questioning, who is this guy? How come we don't know who he is? He's not promoting. We don't know who he is. So how can he get free product, or how can he get discounted product when he's not promoting? And this happens to everybody. It happens all the time, not just like with me and I do it myself because it's tough to be one person when you're filming, editing, still working a full-time job, stuff like that. You can't do everything perfect. You make mistakes and things like that. And when something is not yours, it's just a fact. Something's not yours, you're going to care less. It's just the way it is with anything. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's just the way it is. People have families, people have kids, people have jobs, and things like that. So with that, as years went on, I'm into the third year now filming. Last year, last February, 2 Februarys ago, I was very grateful to meet a company called Antler Grow, which is owner is Jeff Beeler. Super nice guy, would do anything for you. I've talked about Antler Grow many times. It's a great product. He invited me to the ATA show. So that was I think it was last January. And went out to the ATA show. And for everybody that's into hunting and bow hunting, that's the place to go. Everybody wants to go to the ATA show. So when he asked me to go and work at the Antler Grow booth, I was ecstatic. And I was also nervous at the same time. So I ended up driving out to Indianapolis, and met them there. Went to the ATA show, spent 3 days, took off work for 3 days, went to the ATA show, and met so many people. And like I said, I'm nobody important. So the way that I promote videos and stuff is through social media, YouTube, our website, things like that. I was surprised when I got there, the amount of people that like recognized me from like YouTube or Facebook, and it was cool. It was super cool. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was just shocked that people would recognize me. So we spent 3 days at the ATA show, and then Jeff did. I think it was the second day we were there. He ended up doing a Facebook Live on the Outdoor Channel's Facebook page, which I think now they actually have 1 million followers on that page. And right before that, I was super nervous. I was nervous just because, for one, their Facebook page has 1 million followers. 2, we're in an open area, not open to the public, but tons of people walking around, watching you, and not to mention they were live on the Outdoor Channel's Facebook page. They were live on Instagram, I believe. Yeah, Instagram, and also Twitter, I think. If you can go live on Twitter, I'm not sure, but it was three different ones. So all the outdoor channel marketing people and stuff like that were standing in front of us, and there was cameras everywhere. I was sweating bullets. I was nervous, and I think I did an okay job, but it was like a first time to where I was actually in front of a bunch of people, talking in front of them, because that's one thing that I hate to do. It makes me super nervous, because most of the time when I'm editing videos and filming, I'm basically talking to myself, and there's nobody around. So when we did that, there was a group of us there. We had it was Jeff, a guy named Bo, which is Jeff's. He makes videos for the outdoor commercials and stuff like that. Spooks Band, and his cameraman JD. We're all standing there in a row, and the people from the Outdoor Channel, when we were live, kind of went down the row, and each person would explain their stories and experiences with Antler Grow, how it works, and some of the benefits that it has. and people were standing around, and they came to me, and I told them a little story about it, and it was crazy. It was a very cool experience. I learned from being there. I learned a lot of stuff about the outdoor industry, some of the things that go on with TV, sponsorships, marketing, and things like that. I learned so much about that, and I was grateful to go. It was a fun time. It felt like it was super long days. I mean, the days would like drag by, and honestly, from the ATA show, I mean, I would definitely go again, but I don't think it was all cracked up to what people said about it. For one, it's not open to the public. You have to be invited through a company that has a booth there. You have to be invited that way. And that's for 3 days. So to me, the ATA show should be, okay, say you want to open it to just the insider industry people, for the first 2 days. The last day, open up to the public. That would be cool. That would give the chance for the public to see, buy some products, check everything out. But it's just people that are selling the products that are allowed in there. It's not open to the public, and that was weird. That was weird to me. I know it's for the company's chance to release new products and stuff like that. But why not release them? Let the public see them. Even if the public wasn't allowed to buy them, at least let them go through there to see things. And that was like one of the things that I noticed a lot was, or a lot of questions that I had was if it was open to the public, and it's not. It was just silly that it wasn't. And one second, guys. So, the ATA show wrapped up, drove back home, and I was home for about 2 weeks. And then prior to all of this, I had arrangements to go to the Great American Outdoor Show, which is in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I was invited there through Spy Point. So being that I have a full-time job and I have to work through the week, I was there on the weekends, both Saturday, and it goes for 2 weeks. I was there Saturday and Sunday. Spy Point got me a hotel. They reimburse for like your mileage, your food, and things like that. And when they asked me to go, again, I was super pumped, grateful, and that show was very cool. It's open to the public. I think it's like the biggest hunting show in the U.S. And it was a super fun time because, again, I got to see people that I met from the ATA show, and people that like have recognized me from like YouTube, Facebook, or something like that. And that was very cool as well. So when I got there for the weekend, we helped set up the booth and all that stuff. That's open to the public. It was super packed, and you're explaining about these cameras to dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people that come up to the booth wanting to know what new products are coming out for 2017, and all this other stuff. That was a cool experience. They were long days. Got to meet so many people there as well. Met some new friends. Met some new companies, new products, and things like that. And that was super fun. Came home after being there both weekends, and got done all that, and so that's where it's progressed from started filming hunts. You make yourself noticeable, so the companies see you. If they see you're promoting their product in a positive way, in a professional manner, they reach out to you and they offer you to do these things. And like I said, and I'd say it multiple times, I am nobody important in anything. I'm not special. I'm not important or nothing. But what I do is What I do is put a lot of effort into it, and there's people that put tons of more effort into it than I do. But you just have to make yourself noticeable, and when you do that, you're putting yourself out there. You get hate comments, you get positive comments, you get people, that want to hate. They trash talk you. It doesn't bother me one bit. It happens. It happens to everybody. I've heard stories from other people. The same thing. It's just the way it is with anything. It's life. Doesn't matter if it's hunting, fishing, work. It just happens. It sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it. When you're putting yourself out there, you're going to get that kind of stuff. And all you can do is ignore them and move on, because what they're trying to do is just not relevant. It doesn't you don't care. You can't let that bring you down. So it has a positive and a negative effect when you do something, or when you're progressing quicker or better than someone else. You have hate and you have negative comments and things like that, but you have to keep going and move on. And that's some of the things that I've went through over the course of 3 years. It's just the way it goes, and there's nothing you can do about it. So with all that said, I'm very happy where the position that I'm at now. I have met great people, awesome people. I have good relationships with the companies that we do work with, and I don't have a big team. It's just me and one other person. Watch most channels and say you're doing a great job. Some of the bigger channels don't do half as good as you. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it, man. And I don't have a big team. It's me and one other person. The other person is in Iowa. Sorry, he's in Iowa, and he does a good job. And that's all it is. I like self-filming. Maybe one day, I'll have a team member that's local to me, and we'll be able to film each other and things like that. But I do enjoy self-filming. It's a challenge. It's a little bit more. It's more hard to do than having a cameraman. But I'm not trying to be anything special. I'm not trying to be on television, because just the things that I've learned from the ATA and being in the outdoor industry, I don't want to be involved with television. I want to be involved with social media, YouTube, Facebook. That's where the direction that a lot of bigger names are going to. They're pushing social media because everybody in the world pretty much has Facebook. I believe TV is sort of fading out because they're all product paid advertisements for products and stuff like that. When you watch a hunting show on television, you're seeing all these guys kill monster bucks all the time, and that's just not real life. They're hunting farms that haven't been hunted before. Outfitters are saving a chunk of land so these guys can hunt on. That, they're hunting over bait piles, whatever the case may be, to bring these deer in, and they have to do that to produce a television show. Nobody wants to watch a television show where people are shooting a spike or something like that. That's just the way it is. So, but people are realizing now that that's not real life hunting to the average person. Not the average person isn't going to go out every day and shoot a monster buck. It's not going to happen. It's not real life, especially if people don't have access to big farms and food plots and all this other stuff. It's just not going to happen. The show that I do, web-based show, is about real life hunting from the average person that don't have big farms, that don't have big properties and things like that. I want to show you guys that watch on YouTube and Facebook and things like that easy ways to bring deer in, small little management type things that you can do. We put out videos like once a week, and during hunting season we put out every week. There'll be 13 episodes of hunting. Not every episode is going to be a kill, because it doesn't happen that way. It just can't, unless you're hunting these big farms and these outfitters and all this stuff. I don't want to do that. I like hunting the average situation, and doing little small things to increase your chances and increase the you help the deer grow bigger antlers and stuff like that. And that's what I like doing. I don't have big farms. I do have one farm that's 300 acres. There's big deer there, but I have small properties that I hunt that I'm pretty successful on and things like that. And it's that's what our show is about, is showing the average person real life hunting situations and throwing in there a few products that work and things like that. And it's not a huge commercial pitch. I don't get paid for many of the products that I use. Would I like to one day? Of course I would like to, because I put a lot of money and a lot of time into everything. People don't realize like the amount of filming that you have to do and the amount of editing, and it's a lot of work to do. So I would like to get paid one day. That way maybe I don't have to work a full-time job, or I can do half and half or something. But my main goal is to be like fully in the hunting industry. I would love to do that. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. All you can do is keep moving forward, keep doing good things and stuff like that. And hopefully one day it'll happen. You never know. I'm only 32, so who knows what could happen at 35, 40. Who knows? All I'm going to do is keep doing what I'm doing and trying to get better with filming and editing and things like that. I don't like to do all this fancy editing and stuff like that. And if it's boring, it's boring. I mean, I just like to put out real hunts, real situations. Not every hunt's going to be a kill. That's just the way it goes. So with that said, I'm happy in the position that I'm at now. I do have a bear hunt that's coming up in June 12th. And this is the sort of thing that can happen if you guys want to do this. Start filming and put yourself out there. I was able to meet up with some great guys. They have a television show called Bone Cold TV. Sean, Brandon, Scott, and they're great guys. They own a company called Antler Ice. It's a frozen deer urine. These guys have been super nice to me, and they offered me to go to New Brunswick, Canada, bear hunting with them in June 12th, I believe it is. So they're going to be filming for the show. I'm going to be filming up there for what we do and things. So I get to hang out with them up in Canada. It's going to be a super fun time. I'm excited. Hopefully I get to shoot a bear. It'll be the first time ever bear hunting. I've never been before, so I'm super excited about that. So I do have that coming up in June, and then I'm still working on some food plots. Just put a new video up yesterday for a food plot in the woods. I'm working on some extra hunting property. I have a few things I'm working on with that. And then turkey season starts next Tuesday, so I'll be hunting, trying to get some turkeys down. We're allowed 2 birds this spring to shoot, so hopefully I can get some cool turkey hunting footage. I was just earlier today, I was messing around with some blinds, getting all my camera stuff ready for some turkey hunting. So hopefully I can get some good turkey footage for you guys. So that's pretty much where I'm at now. I can't wait for the season. I hope you guys continue to watch the videos. If you haven't, follow us on Facebook. We do a lot of stuff on the Facebook page, Whitetail Obsession Outdoors. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Facebook, we've built Facebook up. We're trying to build YouTube up. Both of them are difficult to do, but it's possible, and I want to say thank you guys for watching. There's a few people watching now, so I appreciate you watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. We're going to start uploading videos. I have to get back on this. I used to do it Tuesdays at 8 p.m. every week, a brand new video. I think I'm switching that to Sundays. I'm not sure, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. And again, thanks for watching. That's my story from start to finish, where I'm at. If you're just joining in, I encourage you to go back and kind of rewatch the beginning and stuff like that. So thank you guys, much appreciated, and I'll see you next time.